Hello, my name is Alina and I'm the founder of Great Ideas, and this video is part of a 10-day challenge going on right now in my Facebook group, Great Ideas for Mamas. It's called the Back to Homeschool Challenge. I'm trying to challenge myself and others as we get started in our homeschool year, getting it set up right. So today is day one. Choose your course. And when I say the course, I'm meaning the 4 basic subjects. Math, language arts, which includes whatever your native language might be and the reading and writing and mechanics behind it, history, and science. And I want you to know that there is no right way to homeschool. It's like a pizza that there are so many choices out there for toppings that not every pizza is going to be the same for everybody. So there's lots of ways to choose to homeschool. And so first, I want to talk to you about style. What is your style? Your style of teaching as well as your children's style of learning. There are basically 5 types of or styles of homeschooling. First is traditional. Of course, this is the way that many of us were schooled at the beginning. It's where you take the textbook, you read the chapter, you do the questions at the end of the chapter or the workbook. And then you take the test and hope you pass the test. Then you have your classical. And this is not a style that I am as good at describing, but it's broken into 3 basic stages. The first is your grammar stage, which is ages 6 to 10. This stage, they believe that children can absorb facts. So they will learn all their math facts. They will really learn all the dates in history and things like that. They love to do facts about every subject. Then you have your dialectic stage, which is ages 10 to 12, which they find out the why behind the steps. And then you have your rhetoric stage, which is age 13 to 18, in which they learn to express themselves, either orally and written, that they learn to express, they write about the why behind the facts, or they do compare and contrast on a subject. And then you have the third way is unit study. This might be where you take a topic and you try to do all of your subjects around that topic. For example, trains. You might read little books on trains and how Curious George took a ride on a train. You might go for a ride on a train. You might do math problems about how long it took to get from point A to point B if they started at 12 and went till 12:30. You might look at the history of trains. You might look at how trains work. So that would be unit studies. And then the fourth way is literature-based or Charlotte Mason-based. Now this doesn't need to be confused with unit study. Yes, unit studies use books too, but generally speaking, think of those using smaller books that give you the facts, or they're the cute little stories. Literature-based tend to use, and Charlotte Mason tend to use what is called a living book. Living books are written by an author that is passionate about his subject. Or her subject. It could be fiction, it can be nonfiction, but it takes you into the story, into that place in history or into that subject in science because they just really love that subject. Those are the living books, which is the Charlotte Mason. And then the fifth way is what I call freestyle. It's also known as unschooling or child-directed learning. This learning is for sure, it can be different extremes, which is why I tend to call it freestyle, because in the back of my head I had always thought of unschooling as not schooling, but that's not true. They do, it's just different. And I have gone online and typed in how to determine my homeschool style, and I come up with all kinds of little quizzes, and I've always come up as unschooling. And I kept thinking, goodness gracious, I can't believe that, because I have used unit studies. I have done Charlotte Mason, and I occasionally used a textbook. So I decided that that's why I call it freestyle, because it's you pick and choose what might work for you at the time. If I choose a textbook, I don't necessarily use the textbook the way it was prescribed. I don't like using teacher's guides because it gives me too much information and it boggles my mind. So there are the 5 different styles. And of course, what you need to consider is what is comfortable for you to teach and what your child's learning style is. Now, those two things don't always get along. Sometimes they collide. I had one child that the way he was my first, and so the way it started, he and I did not mesh on teaching style and learning style, because I had been a public school teacher for a long time. Textbooks were all I knew, for the most part. He did not do well with textbooks, and so I had to learn to change so that it wasn't a constant battle. And then once you have determined what style you think you want to look at, then you need to do your research. You can find planned curriculum out there just in about any of the areas except for the last one with freestyling. That one you end up doing your own planning, but it's real free, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can find curriculum that gives you step by step, no matter which of the first 4 it is. Like for traditional, you could look at Alpha Omega or Abeka or Bob Jones. There's even online school like K-12 and Easy Peasy that would be considered traditional because it's learning a lesson and filling out the answers. With classical, there's the Well-Trained Mind and Thomas Jefferson Education and Classical Conversations that's out there to learn more about it. With unit studies, you can type in homeschool unit studies. You'll find lots of places out there. One of the big ones that was popular when I first started was Konos. Another one that I've seen come along is Layers of Learning. It is one that you can do a unit study with all of your children at the same time. And then with your literature-based, Charlotte Mason-based, there's Ambleside online, there's Sunlight, Queen's Homeschooling, Simply Charlotte Mason. So there's several out there that you can look at and see. And the best way to research is talk to other homeschoolers. The favorite question when I go to a new homeschooler get-together, even 19 years later, is, what do you use for school? So, ask the opinions of other homeschoolers. Find out how they use it and if it's worked for them or not worked for them. And then visit homeschool fairs where you can get your hands on the books. I've always loved to get my hands on them at some point. And then you need to purchase. The first thing you need to do is set your budget. Being on a single income, a lot of times for homeschoolers, money is tight. So you need to say, I have this much money to spend on homeschooling, and so that we don't break the bank. And so it's much better if you're doing it ahead of time instead of at the last minute, so that you can find the deals. Look at the library and see if you can find the books or find the free online places to get them. Because the further ahead that you choose, the better you can do for finding deals. Now, my mother gave me some of the best advice that she could give a new mom years ago. She told me that we were having trouble with our very first. He was a colicky baby, and he ate a lot, and I was nursing at the time, and I was getting advice from everywhere, and with those new mom hormones still raging, I was getting so upset. And Mama told me that it doesn't matter what we say. You are the mom. You have to do what's best for your child. And that was so freeing. I didn't have to listen to all those other voices anymore. So this is the big thing. Don't ever let a curriculum rule you. You are the mom. You know and will see what works and what doesn't work. You do not have to do all of the little points that it says. So what if you didn't finish everything? You don't have to use it exactly like it did. What may have worked this year may not work next year, and it's okay to change even in the middle of the school year. Now, I understand on a budget that makes it hard, but you may need to, if the money's not there to buy new curriculum, then adjust how you're using the curriculum you have. So, look at your style, do your research, and set your budget, but don't let the curriculum rule you. Thank you very much for being here today and watching my video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. You are also welcome to join us on Great Ideas for Mamas. We will keep doing other things dealing with homeschool and mom life on the Facebook throughout the year. Thank you and have a blessed day.